Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another normal game, but it's not very normal if these icons are correct. Sent in by you, the fans, to Lifesaglitchtv at gmail.com. Mr. Maximus Black.
Yes.
I had a different sound in mind, but after Que Paso Padrino, we're gonna go with hit me up with the sound of ordering tacos at a Mexican restaurant, but you're Japanese.
Hey, I would have a beef taco with lettuce sauce. You bring a great dishonor. Hi. Extra cheese. Wow.
It's the most casual racism we've had in a hot minute.
Hey. I did it for comedic purposes, all right? Don't cancel me.
It's true.
All right?
It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. Down here in the bottom right, we got Futoshiki, the Red Terran. And the top left, we've got Good at Macro.
Ooh.
This is, if we are to believe it, Grandmaster versus Master level, which would mean it would be very high Master level.
It would.
And it's a normal game. So
Adam.
if it ain't lying to us, this is the highest level StarCraft we will have casted in a hot minute. What do we got, Mr. Black?
Adam, I'm believing it. These openings are tight. He's putting, look at this position to make it so the Reapers don't jump up here. He's going to put his core down. He's going to block this off. Adam, we're here.
It might be real.
We're here. Oh, my God. Strap yourselves the fuck in because we might actually see some StarCraft. All right, he is opening up. Very standard, but very tight, very right. He's getting that Nexus going here. He's good at macro.
Every time you say tight, I just think of the fucking scene in Breaking Bad where the fucking guy, like the first season, first or second, was it the first season still? I think it is. It's like the first real Mexican like cartel member that they deal with, and they're in the dump, and he takes a hit, and he's like,
he's like,
tight.
Ah, she's tight. Woo! Ha! Ha! Yeah. Just coked out of his mind and just
that dude.
High on
dude, I gotta give props to that dude. That dude acted the fuck out of that character. I gotta keep it a buck.
Yeah, something tells me he wasn't acting.
Nah, he's been there before.
He's been there before, from experience. That's what's up. The Adept coming out. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to join the new LAGTV-ish Discord, community Discord, where you can play our sponsored games together, throw some replays in there, chat, talk about your favorite casts, all that stuff. Link will be in the description below, and shout outs to everybody that has been supporting the Ant Legion campaign. That is going to be over in the next day or two. Absolutely insane. Like, when I tell you guys showed up in a big way, Adam's a happy man. Let's put it that way. He's happy.
Yeah. Oh, no jokes.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible.
Absolutely. I'm happy, too. I'm going to be honest with you. You know who isn't happy? Futo right now. He's saying, get the fuck away from my natural, would you? Adept, piss off, get going, be gone. We got the command center now flying over here. We're playing a normal macro Grandmaster master. The simple fact he's using his adepts to get a little bit of scouting information. He's not overcommitting. The movements, the shift movement clicks. I'm picking up on all of it right now. I almost feel like maybe once a week we need to try and find some high-level games just to cleanse the palate, so to speak. You know, after you're done eating sushi, you like to put in that little bit of ginger, just to cleanse it up a little bit. I think we need some high-level games in our life once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's entirely possible. That was very well done. Is
Look
this
at this.
shade going to pop off in
Look
time?
At this.
Oh, this would be disgusting. Disgusting micro if he kills all these Marines, and he will.
Oh, yes!
Oh, that's BM! He's got 1 HP left. That was a bold move, Cotton. Got out of there alive, and both Adepts are still there. That was an incredible dub there at the low mid map for Good at Macro, who apparently is also pretty good at micro, which means Fuda Horsecock over here is going to have a hell of a time if this game keeps going, if he lives up to the name. Bunch of Marines out here now, clearing out, if anything. There's nothing there, just some shades. Not going to commit to the shades. And Good at Macro is living up to their name now as the first round of the Stalkers have entered the field and will go down to meet those Adepts.
Yes.
And we're going to have to see what Fudo is up to.
Yeah, well, he's bringing these Stalkers down, and then he's going to bring his Warp Gate research. What he's doing, and what a lot of lower-level people do, is they basically wait until their Warp Prism is finished. Then they bring the Warp Prism down, and then they warp in. What Good at Macro is doing is he's getting ahead of it. He's doing one warp cycle, oftentimes two. You'll see the Warp Prism stop halfway through, do another warp cycle, then come down here, wait for the basically the cooldown to stop, and then do another warp cycle as well. Fortunately, he's only got enough here for one more, so he's going to do a warp here. He's likely going to bring over the Warp Prism here, do a blink upwards, keep the Warp Prism out of harm's way, and then use double blink. And he's going to be blinking the Stalkers naturally, and then also blinking them with the Warp Prism. Siege Tank now going down in a perfect position, picking up the first 4 Stalkers because they had a cooldown for blink. He's going to start working his way over into the base, quickly checking over to see if he has a third. He knows he doesn't because he has the Observer. And now we are going in. It looks like he's going to leave some Stalkers here. So once these units go out of the bunker, he's going to try and hit them on 2 fronts. Here we go.
Oh, there goes the drop. Getting in, getting early. Tanks doing a lot of work, but getting in there in the mineral line is smart. Means a little splash damage on the SCVs, but not much done there. Fudo is going to get away with without much damage done to the mineral line, as Good at Macro is forced to leave and not feeling strong enough to be able to commit to this prong attack, which really is smart because, well, the siege tank's kind of hard to contend with right now with what he's got. So he's going to head out for now and try again another day. But another indicator we're watching, people that know what they're doing, the commitment levels are intelligent. They're not overcommitting. They're not throwing away units. If they can save units, the units are saved. And just before tragedy strikes, gets rid of that mine and gets back in here with a little bit of blink action as a more or less even trade there. But this is really just an annoyance right now for Fudo as he continues to prepare to probably push out himself. And Good at Macro is going to have to be careful that he doesn't get caught with his pants down, or the ensuing counterattack is going to be a real pain in his ass when Fudo does decide to move out, which it looks like he might be doing at least a little bit right now.
Yeah, he went up there and tried to do a little Widowmine drop. Very well done by Good at Macro. Took minimal loss there, only lost 1 probe. Quickly picked that off. I love to see what Good at Macro was doing there. He did a cheeky little thing that I noticed where he blinked forward into the mineral line, forcing the siege tank to do damage on the SCVs, but was also trying to be really cheeky and get a pick off on that tank. And then he was using his forward blink, but then also using the Warp Prism as sort of a halfway blink as well. So very, very well done. Extremely micro-intensive. I like what Futo is doing here. He put down that 1 missile turret, which is going to negate this Warp Prism to be able to come in and do those half blinks, what I was discussing earlier. Can't get too close to it, and now he's going to back off. So very good, well played here by both players. And Good at Macro, as you've noticed, he has not overcommitted. Those Stalkers that were sitting over here, he never had a good opportunity to go in, so he didn't do it. And now he's back over at his main, trying to hold off. And in the meantime, he actually managed to get out of third even before Futo did. So while he was doing the harassment, he has been constantly macroing in behind. 121 supply to 116. We've got Thermal Lance finishing up here, and he's starting to build up that death ball. But Futo has the third down now. He opted to not get the Planetary Fortress, still has some good spread on the siege tanks, and is going to be going that Heavy Marine Marauder medevac ball, which, you know, can do obscene amounts of damage, but this is starting to look real scary at him. This army's getting nasty looking.
Yeah, when you get at this level and you got this kind of army comp, even if you're up against somebody of equal skill with Micro, you get some death balls out there, and I don't mean the units. I just mean playing dodgeball out here. Another Warp Prism drop here. Try to do some more. But that's a tough mine to take on that first one. Ouch. Is going to get a little bit of harassment done here, but nothing serious. But yeah, it's true. You get the drafts are involved, the dodgeball is involved, and it's going to come down to just how good the Terran is at positioning on the map, and that will often determine in this unit comp who comes out on top. But right now, Good at Macro, gotta be honest, for the name, doing a pretty good job in the micro as well.
Yeah, no, very, very well done there by both players. He's trying to do a multi-prong attack. A small mistake there from Good at Macro, where he had his Zealots in behind the Stalkers and did not blink the Stalkers back. That Colossus not able to get in there and do big damage. He got off a huge disruption, but a beautiful micro play there by Futo, taking minimal losses, and he shuts it down just like that. That is going to be very annoying here for Good at Macro. Look. That, things are starting to turn around in Futo's favor. Now he's going to try and hit from two sides. That Colossus doing big damage from behind. The Zealots coming up, getting rid of the siege tanks, and now we're moving in here. The back blink from the Stalkers trying desperately to keep this Colossus alive, and it goes down. Huge pick off there from Futo. Very well done from both players. Futo's going to live, take minimal damage, and now Good at Macro is going to have to retreat.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal defense there by Futo. Really, just on a surface level, you look at it and you're like, oh man, look at the backdoor slots 9 coming in like 15 friggin' Zealots and a friggin' reach around trying to get some damage on those tanks, and did clear them out and allowed him to move forward on the ramp with the Stalkers and the Colossus. But the Colossus going down, that was the only thing really allowing him to hold that ramp. As soon as it went down, he had to back up. And Futo, of course, building units the whole time. One of the primary upshots of this comp is the speed in which you can get yourself back on your feet, and just this little fighting force here that he was able to crank out is able to do a lot of work on its own. There it is, gets the shutdown on beautiful that expansion. We'll get some more work done here, getting rid of these Zealots. We'll probably pick up and peace out after the blink. Oh, he gets rid of one more. He's gonna have to run it home, and that will be that. Gets the separation there in the bushes, and we'll have to prepare for perhaps a little bit more harassment at the front. But so far, both gentlemen just doing a fantastic job. Both of them getting kind of the upper hand on each other in battle, back and forth. Nobody's been able to get a really like definitive victory thus far and clean everything up to allow for a proper counterattack. And so this looks like it's going to go for another few minutes and maybe another couple of bases. I'm wondering if Futo is going to continue to commit to this or get out of the death ball. As he is continuing, obviously he's going to see more numbers of Colossus climbing.
Yeah, I'm liking what Futo is doing here. He went and picked off an expansion, and this is what he's trying to do now. Pick off tech, try and just be an annoyance, and try and make it so that the harassment that Good at Macro is doing to Futo basically gets negated and stopped. But he does have to be careful. He does know that there was a disruptor in play earlier along with Colossi, so he cannot overextend here. And he most certainly does not want to pick up all of these units inside these medevacs, because all it's going to take is a forward blink from Good at Macro to pick those off. If he loses those medevacs, that's going to be the green light for Good at Macro to, at the very bare minimal, pick off the fourth or even at this third. And he really needs to watch it and not overextend. It is 182 supply for Futo to 170, but I still give the tech over to Good at Macro. But Futo will start to spike as he starts to now get his fourth with the Planetary Fortress, putting a couple of missile turrets down with those Widow Mines for protection, which is going to give him the confidence to start going out there and say, okay, you know what? Let me try and pick off a Nexus here and there, maybe do a drop on the main, and if he tries to do a counterattack with some drops, his defense back at base should be able to handle it.
Man, that is just so many Colossus. A Disruptor Ball in there. We had a Storm, I think, to see in there hiding somewhere. And it just wasn't enough. The spread on the units, the backstep, and then the stem forward clears that up. That might be game, actually.
It's not game. It's not game yet. There's just too much defense going on, and these Marauders and Marines may be able to pick off this base if he's lucky. One more Warp Cycle will stop it. 4 more disruptors are coming down. He's going to lose a shit ton of probes here, and he might commit. No, he can't. Oh, that was massive.
Wow.
Huge disruption, getting rid of 99% of that army and save that base. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but that is huge at this stage in the game. Massive. Well played there.
I was just... Yeah. I can't believe he made it. Well, he had 4 attempts to hit it, and he hit it, and now he's going to re-up on these Templar. Oh my God.
Archon.
So we're going right into Archon. Archon Disruptor. Going to be real hard now for this Bio Ball to work, but at the same time, the tech into the Ghosts are there. We're going to be getting the Ghost counter. And this is again going to come down to some positioning and micro in these battles, because everything else seems to be pretty much in lockstep between these two gentlemen. I was surprised to not see anything kind of trickle in after the success of that attack there from Futo, but maybe he was taking the opportunity after getting that small dub there to complete his transition into this next level of tech and not commit to too many units getting back in. But here we go again. He's gonna try, but
Big
that's
storm.
a scary army, and he's gonna be very careful.
Yeah, he's gonna be very careful. Huge EMP goes on basically that entire army. But unfortunately, his army still isn't big enough to take this. The charge lots are still there, the disruptions are going off, and there's still one more possible disruption that can go off. He shoots it, and now he's got to attack. There's still one more, actually. Holy shit. They just don't stop. He's going to lose 2 disruptors there. The EMPs are doing damage. 2 more Archon are going to fall here. Those disruptors in the front are very susceptible of just getting fucking teed off from the knees up. And he keeps them. Jesus. I'm trying to rhyme. Don't ask me why.
Thank you, Dr. Seuss.
You're welcome.
The disruptors are having a hard time. He's hit some big ones, but in this instance, he's been having a hard time landing them. But honestly, that's more, I think, credit to Futo's ability to play around these storms and disruptions than anything. It's not that Good at Macro's been particularly horrible with his placements or his attempts with his disruptors. And at the same
big
time,
pick-off here.
again, just a big pick-off on the left-hand side as Good at Macro is being able to put that macro to good use. These re-ups and keeping himself at max has been integral to being able to keep this train alive.
Yeah.
As both men are now kind of at a point where they're able to keep their units maxed out, and it's
But there's
really,
a difference.
even if there's a decisive victory, it's still going to be difficult to just call it right there, because at this point the macro on both sides is so huge. It'll be fun to see what comes through the pipe to actually push one out and head of the other.
Yeah, I mean, Good at Macro is living up to his name. His macro is significantly better than Futo, and that's not to shit on Futo. He's doing a phenomenal job. But under all of this pressure now, we are on 2, 4, 6, 7 base for Good at Macro, and the 5th is now just going down here for Futo. He's basically at the point where he needs to commit and go all in, because at this point, he's going to be able to start warping in 10, 20 units at a time, and the Colossus numbers are not dwindling. This is going to get to the point where that Protoss Death Ball is going to completely destroy him. A forward blink there, getting rid of 3 more medevacs, and now it's to the point where he's going to be able to start countering, and if he can at least get rid of this 5th or this 3rd, Futo is going to be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, that Colossus number is probably going to be the thing that he's gonna, I don't know how he contends with it. I don't think he really can do too much. He can stave it off. He got rid of most of the units up front, aside from a couple of stalkers. And so again, just when you might look at that, if this was any other game that we would normally cast, you'd look at that and go, oh, that's game. He's got like 4 or 5 Colossus left. There's no way that a person's gonna be able to pull it off and hold, but he does. But like you say, Good at Macro is going to be coming through the pipe here with that name coming in hot, being able to pump out 12, 15, 20 units at a time.
Yeah.
And these units that are coming out are a lot more powerful one-to-one over Futo. That last fight, the one that was at Good at Macro's expansion, might have been that point, that turning point, where it's going to put him over the top, because now you can see the army count is getting bigger and bigger gaps.
Massive. That was a huge storm right there. He's only got a couple of Archon. He's starting to spread his High Templar very well. The Ghosts are trying desperately to get off a huge EMP, and he's doing everything he can. Huge storms go down. He's going to turn them into Archon now, and he's got to keep these Stalkers alive in the front to attend with these Vikings that are going to be focus firing down on these Colossi, but the numbers are dwindling. The Archons are now starting to get into the front. He is going to be able to hold, but a ton of damage is being put on Futo now. Look at the supply count, 156 to 113. He's going after the SCVs. He's forced to back off, and it is a good defend, but now, okay, he's at the point where he's killing off probes. He's hit that critical mass.
So he's built so many bases. He no longer needs probes. You might as well hold them to do something stupid. There you go.
Oh my God!
This man is building bases all over the map.
It's over. Yeah, it's done.
This is just he can just outbuild anything Futo has.
Yeah.
And credit to Futo, all these holds have been really tough holds. The problem is that unfortunately the macro is just too much and overwhelming. The holds themselves, the micro, from Fudo has been great. He's been making good decisions and holding these incredible pushes here, these advances from Good at Macro, and continues to now still. It's just like attrition where Good at Macro can, you know, whether or not he cares to put too much effort in, continue to resupply himself with just about as many units as Fudo can keep pace with. And I think we're finally starting to see the beginning of the end here as Macro just keeps picking away at things and getting closer and closer in to the heart of Fudo's base, but not to take away from Fudo. I mean, man, for a person who is 70 supply back, or close to it, he's doing an awful lot of work with very little in comparison. So, you know, good job to Fudo, but if this was any other LAGTV match, I'd say stop playing with your food to Macro. Clearly at this point, he should be able to just win. He's maxed again. Yeah, and Fudo just continues to hold.
His problem, and the reason why he hasn't been able to just win it straight off is because he's got 117 probes. He's over macroed. He's sitting at almost Facebook money now, and if he keeps this up any longer, he'll be at Oprah money. He legitimately needs to kill off 50 supply of of workers, and then he can just get a sheer mass of Zealot along with these Colossus and basically win the game. But I think he's just starving out his opponent anyway. His opponent now sitting at 150 minerals, and he can afford to take these bad engagements and lose a bunch because he can just constantly warp in, and eventually these medevacs will have no more energy to heal. The Colossus, they may die, but it's just going to get overran by units more and more and more until eventually he's dead. And I would imagine that Futo will GG out of this game very, very soon, now that the reality is likely sinking in.
Yeah, shit, dude. What a back and forth here.
Beautiful game.
Both gentlemen doing a fantastic job. Beautiful game indeed. Super interesting to see somebody. I mean, it's in the name, but so dedicated to winning in this style, which is essentially just putting in the work. It's not that he was bad at micro. We saw some really great micro from him, but putting in the work to ensure that the win condition is essentially starving his opponent out, and holding with just, basically like Protoss in late game it's a tech thing. Like Protoss endgame units are just so fucking strong, it's insane. And so you just get yourself to a point where you can keep streaming them in, and as we all know, the most powerful unit in the game next to the SCV is a level 3 Zealot. And so if you can just, stick to Colossus and a few Zealots, it's tough to be able to keep up with that, especially when your opponent's on 403 bases.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's pretty much taken the entire map. It's just like borderline BM at this point. When you're at this stage in the game and you see that your opponent has got a Nexus outside your base and you have not been on the other side of the map in 10 minutes, you basically know the game is over. But I mean, kudos to Fudo. He is staying in it. He's doing his best, but he is dwindling. He can't go to any other resource on the map at this point, just because Good at Macro has all of them, every single base at this stage in the game. And I think, we're pretty much at that point where he just needs to GG out and just call it.
I think Fudo. I think
he's about to.
A lot of games. Yeah. Oh boy.
This will.
A lot of games at this level, when they're this close, a lot of people will, and this is probably a good idea too. You get to this point, and sometimes if you're feeling good about it and whatnot, this is just good practice for Fudo. Like, he might not win the game, but it's not every day that you get to get this deep into the game and be able to have this much practice with being able to manage an army against something like he has been here with Good at Macro. I mean, he's been dodging disruptors and storms and Archon and giraffes like non-stop this whole entire time. There's another storm, unfortunately, as those ghosts are not able to go do their job, and that was almost bad for that disruptor ball. But yeah, just it's good practice for Futo to be able to keep this up and get it in while he still can. But it's true. This just feels like an inevitability that we're just witnessing play out. Although, you know what? In a weird way, if Fudo came back and won it, I wouldn't hate it either. But it's basically impossible.
He won't. It's done. This will be the final push. Once these units die, that's going to be the game. I don't know why he's not making this into an Archon, but I mean, he's just getting thermal lance to shit. I mean, now we're at 3-3. I was just taking a look at this guy's hotkeys. It's actually a weird hotkey placement for sure. He's got 3, 4,
Oh,
5, 6, and 7.
Oh, yeah.
And this is standard 1, 2, 3, and 4. So interesting hotkey placement there for good at macro, but it's working for him, obviously. And there it is. There's the GG.
There it
My
is.
God, what a game.
Crazy good
great.
game. Solid, normal game. High play from both sides. High quality action. And yeah, good on both gentlemen. Just a really interesting look into good at macros playstyle. I mean, they're not lying; it's in the name. Clearly focuses on it, and kind of looks like gets to a point where doesn't have to worry too much about the micro. Just kind of throws units into the grinder until the opponent doesn't have anything left. And credit to Fudo. Throughout that game, did about as well as you could possibly hope to do against an onslaught of endgame Protoss units, with just more or less the Death Ball comp and a couple of Vikings. I mean, that shit was very impressive to say the least. So well done to both gentlemen. Good game.
Good game. I have nothing else to add. Again, thank you, everybody. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Thank you for supporting the sponsors, and we shall see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.